To start my video off, you have your pressure cap with expansion tank. The expansion tank system is needed because as coolant heats up, it expands. So there needs to be a location where the expanded coolant can go to. So that is why you have components like your expansion line and tank. To the left of the tank, you have a yellow electrical connector that I have no idea what it does. To the right of the expansion tank, you have your air conditioning pipe that if you follow down, you will have your air conditioning recharge points. The air conditioning recharge points are used so you can connect the air conditioning recharge machine to it. Located to the left of the expansion line, you have your electrical connector that is used to control the headlight. To the right, you have your adjuster to adjust the headlight aim. To the right of the air conditioning line, you have one of your engine mounts. There are two to not only hold the engine up, but it's also used to connect to the longitudinal members. Located in the center of the engine mount, you have your rubber bush. The rubber bush is used to reduce engine noise, vibration, and harshness from being transmitted into the chassis. Located lower right of your air conditioning pipe, you have your auxiliary belt system. The auxiliary belt system is used to drive different components. The alternator is used to power the 12-volt system when the engine is running. On the alternator, you have holes to keep the alternator cool. Behind the holes, in bronze, you have your stator windings. Located below the alternator, you have your air conditioning compressor. The air conditioning compressor is used to pump the refrigerant around the system. Located on the left of the alternator, you have your belt tensioner. The belt tensioner is used to keep the belt in tension. Located above the alternator, you have your pipe that goes from the intercooler to the throttle body. Located in this area, you have your pipe that goes from the compressor housing outlet port to the inlet of the intercooler. Just in front of the pipe, you have your dipstick. The dipstick is used to manually check how much oil you have left in the oil sump. To the right of the last location, you have your turbocharger. The turbocharger is used to improve volumetric efficiency by forcing more air into the engine. Driven by the wasted exhaust gases from the engine exhaust ports, the turbo compresses the air going into the engine to improve power and torque. On the turbocharger itself, you have your compressor housing that has the compressor wheel inside the housing. The compressor wheel compresses the air going into the engine. Your banjo bolt that has a hole for it to allow the lubricant to lubricate the turbo shaft bearings. And finally, behind the heat shielding, you have your turbine housing. Inside the turbine housing, you have your turbine wheel that exhaust gases drive to turn the compressor wheel. Located 45 degrees from the outlet pipe of the compressor housing, you have your positive crankcase ventilation pipe. The pipe is used to take crankcase gases from the crankcase to the inlet pipe. On the pipe itself, you have a sensor or actuator. Below the pipe, you have your location that is used. Below the pipe, you have a location that is used for when the engine needs to be removed from the car. The bracket is used to attach the engine crane hook. Located directly in front of the video, you have your mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor is used to tell the engine control unit how much air is entering the engine. Below the mass airflow sensor, you have your vacuum pump. The vacuum pump is used to supply vacuum to vacuum-powered components like your power brake booster and other components. Located to the left of the video, you have your air filter. The air filter is used to prevent dust and debris from entering the engine. In white, to the rear right of the air filter assembly, you have your brake fluid tank. In black, you have your pipe that takes the fluid from the brake fluid cap to the brake fluid tank. On the cap, you have information on what brake fluid the car takes. In this case, the Department of Transportation for approved brake fluid. Directly in front, but offset to the right, you have your engine control unit. The ECU is used to control the engine by taking in information from sensors to control the actuators, like your fuel injectors. On the back of the ECU, you have two electrical connectors that have lots of wires, from your controller area network wires to wires that goes to all of the other components. There are two tabs to lock down the electrical connector and prevent them from moving. Just below the pipe that goes from your air filter to the turbo inlet, you have your air intake pipe. Taking up the majority of the video, you have your 12-volt battery. The 12-volt battery is used to power the 12-volt system when the engine is not running. You have cables that run from the positive terminal that supplies power to the whole 12-volt system. Top center of the video, you have your fuse and relay box. Just behind the fuse and relay box, you have your jump start terminal. When the battery is in situ in the car, you can't gain access to the negative terminal of the battery. You can't gain access to the negative terminal of the battery, so you have this instead. Just to the right, you have two electrical grounds that are the many grounds used in the vehicle. The reason the chassis is used as a return path to the battery, it dramatically reduces wiring. In this location to the right of my video, you have your gearbox. Also in this location, you have your cartridge-style oil filter. The oil filter is used to filter contaminants from the oil. And finally, you have different components like your coolant lines and other different components. Between the engine and radiator, you have your vacuum diaphragm that is used to operate the VTG turbine guide vanes. Located below left of the vacuum diaphragm, you have a component that is part of your emission control system. When the engine cover is removed, you can see other components. In this location, you can see your valve cover that is used to cover the top of the cylinder head and prevent dust, water and debris from getting into the camshaft system and oil. To the left of the video, you have your oil cap. Located in this location in front of the video, you have your fuel filter. The fuel filter is used to remove debris and water from the fuel and only supply fuel free from debris and water from getting into the fuel injection system. On the fuel filter, you have your fuel lines that goes to different components of the fuel system. To the left of my video, you have your throttle body. To the left of the pipe that goes from your intercooler to the throttle body, you have your fuel injector. The fuel injector is used to inject the fuel directly into the combustion chamber. When injected on the compression stroke, the air is ignited in the cylinder to create the power stroke. Together with three other injectors creates the power strokes for the rest of the cylinders. In black, you have your pipes to take excess fuel from the injectors to the fuel tank return line. I don't have footage of me putting the engine cover back on, but after I shot this video, I put the engine cover back on. Thank you very much for watching my video and goodbye.